All right, welcome to part 2 of M08 tuning. Again, this video is kind of focused on suspension on the M08 for black carpet. And disclaimer, this video will be kind of long and boring, so not my fault if you sleep. All right, so I'll kind of talk on a high level of what I run and my thoughts on the new rules. I'll talk a little bit more about that on the end. Like I said before, it's not an ultimate setup. What works for me may not work for you. This is more or less kind of get people started in the right direction. I generally tend to make my cars set up to be a little bit easy to drive. And you guys could kind of go from there. And if you guys want to get make it a little more nimble, more sharper, or have more steering. So anyways, let's start off. So first, there's going to be some parts you'll want to get that make a big difference. TCS racing is a lot of fun, but depending on the class, it could be pretty expensive. First, what you want to get is the M08 C-Hub. So you get that there. This is if you're going to buy these parts, you might as well get the carbon reinforced one. So that is 54810. So you get the C-hub, the rear hub carrier, and the steering knuckle, all in carbon reinforced plastic. So the reason I say to get these parts, because the stock M08, don't know why Tamiya do this, but their C-hub is set up where it has inserts in the hinge pin area. This hole right here. That allows it to, you can use it on either side and gives you 2 degrees caster because it comes with a 0 degree caster plate on the bottom. I don't know why they didn't just make it without an insert since they're making a brand new mold, but hey, that's just how Tamiya does things. They're kind of weird sometimes like that. Next, you want to get the caster plate. So it's going to be this bottom piece right here. So you guys didn't know the M07 C-hub is actually a 0 degree C-hub. So to get caster, you have to change this plate right here. I'm using the 4 degree right now, but I have used the 5 degree. These are kind of very difficult to get at the moment, but as of right now, the 4 degree is actually in stock at RC Mart. So I just got this from RC Mart. That is 54786. Both the 4 and 5 degree will work very good for your setup. Haven't tried the 6 degree yet. That's on my M07 right now, but yeah, I can't go wrong with the 4 or 5 degree, but it's kind of very hard to get 5 degree at the moment. If you do want to still run 5 degree but can't find it, you could order the plastic parts tree from the M07. I believe that stock plastic caster plate for the M07 is 5 degrees. So that's going to give you kind of arm sweep like here. So it's going to be angled up at the front, kind of like a 2-wheel drive buggy almost. I much prefer running 4 or 5 degrees. It just seems like corner entry and exit cornering kind of rounds out a lot smoother, a lot more predictable. Also, there's a benefit to using the M07 C-hub. The fact that it doesn't have inserts, it is way more durable than the M08 C-hub. I think I've broken at least 2 or 3 of the M08 C-hub. And then I don't think I've broken an M07 C-hub at all. So definitely these will make the biggest changes to the setup. Next, for carpet, you're going to want the M07 sway bar set. So this definitely works on the M08. It is part number 54757. Comes with everything you need to put it on the M08. Next, you want to get the tuned spring set. This one right here is what I use, the 53333. Honestly, Tamiya have like 3 or 4 variations of this spring set, so it could get very confusing. There's many different types. I just stick with what I know, and then these are pretty much the 3 types that I use: the soft, the medium, and the hard. You could get 2 sets if you want, in case you want to run the same spring rate front and rear, but you'll also be fine with just one of these. And next, I know it's kind of adding up, I recommend getting the mini shocks for the M chassis mini shocks. So the standard one is part number 54000. And then they have a big bore version. I think this is the newest one. It is 42355. So this is what I'm running on my M08 right now. They're nice because to me, aluminum shocks are some of the smoothest in the business. And these cars are just a bunch of plastic parts together. There's a lot of tweak in the car. Yeah, you could make the plastic shocks work, but it's just so much easier, not only smoother, but be able to set tweak accurately. With the shock collars is a big advantage. So highly recommended. They are pretty pricey, but I think that's pretty much in the order of what I would get. So once again, that's M07 C hub, the 4 or 5 degree caster plate, sway bars, springs, and then if you got any money left, get the shocks. You can also get the carbon arms. They're pretty cheap. Once you go full carbon suspension, it'll feel a little bit more sharper on black carpet, and it's just nice to have. They're not terribly expensive. So yeah, first you'll want to install those parts. Ride height, I'm running about 5mm in the front and 5.2. So I found that anything lower than that, you'll get massive scrub on these ends. You typically even see it after a run. You'll want to clean it off with some brake cleaner. There's just builds up a lot of carpet gunk on these corners. I do my measurements from this corner, and then for the rear, you could do it either right here or this one. You just have to be careful you're measuring it from here. So you want to set it at again 5mm in front and 5.2 in the rear. All right, so yeah, so alignment, use a setup station. I can't stress that enough. So camber, what am I running? In the front, I run anywhere from 1.5 to 2 degrees. I recommend 1.5 to start off with. If you need a little bit more, a little more front bite, a little more aggressive front, go to 2 degrees. In the rear, I just default to 1.5 or 2 degrees camber in the rear. Again, I'm probably at 2 degrees camber in the rear right now. Front toe out, you're gonna want 1 degree out, and rear toe in, I'm actually at 2 degrees, and might even try 1.5 degrees toe in. Like I said, this car has so much rear grip. You've got these grippy tires, the motor sitting so close to the rear, and it's a pretty heavy car. So even when running the past power plant with 24 tooth pinion, I was still very stable with 2 degrees of toe in the rear. So now you say, why the setup station? You're gonna notice I have one thick shim over here and no shims on this side, or just a little shim right here. and then I'm running no shims out here. I probably had built maybe 3 M08s, and 2 of them required a big shim on this side, and the other one required a big shim on this side. So I don't know what's up with the Tamiya mold, but it kind of drove me nuts for a while. Swapping arms, thinking things were bent, swapping hubs, wondering why, my toe was off, even though I set all the shims evenly. But then I found out, it's probably just the way maybe they pulled off this mold. I don't know. Anyways, use the setup station and then adjust shims accordingly to get the desired toe in. All right. So sway bars, before when I was running a lot more power, I was running this, I think it was the red ones. Kind of see on the tip right here of the sway bar. I was running reds all around, but my setup kind of has quite a bit of body roll. Kind of made it very easy to drive and very stable. I could push it hard in the corners. And not traction roll. But lately, I've tried the thicker blue sway bar in the front, and I got soft in the rear. With these new rules that are slowing down the cars quite a bit, I think I'm going to go with the blue sway bar in the rear. Still kind of experimenting, but just doing some minor changes based on the new slower speeds of this year. Before I was a little bit more worried about traction rolling, but now setup will be revised to kind of give a little bit more cornering speed. All right. As far as shock setups, I believe I'm running the 3-hole piston front and rear. And I think I'm at 35 weight in the front and 40 weight in the rear. I'm running red springs all around. But again, I think what I'm going to modify is trying stiffer springs. I know like Vu and Charlie, I think they're running either yellows all around or yellow in the front and blue in the rear. Or I might try yellow in the rear and keep my reds up front. But definitely something for you guys to kind of figure out. But if you want a safe starting point, run reds all around. Works generally pretty well. I don't think I covered droop. So again, kind of on the new rule set, I think I'm going to be decreasing droop. Right now, I'm running a lot of droop, again, to make it easier to drive before. So I was about 5 millimeter of ride height in the front, and how I measure droop is I lift the front end until the tires start lifting off the ground. So I'm running about 3 millimeters of front droop, and in the rear is 3.5. So quite a bit more than your normal touring car setup. But again, now with these slower speeds, I'm thinking about going a little bit less droop, doing 0.5 millimeter on each end at a time. So try that to start off with. Let me know how it goes. Go ahead and pick my brain for anything. And I think I've covered it. May do another video, part 3 bonus video, to see maybe some additional fine tuning tips and a hop-up guide. So yeah, you guys see my drivetrain, tires, and suspension should be the final component. Thanks all. Good luck racing.